hit this button, it's supposed to start a broadcast of some sorts, and I'm still getting used to this thing. How do we do that? Hey guys, we're live on the Metal Lab this week. I'm joined by my fellow bearded male, Mr. PJ Bolin.
Hi.
I am joined from the south end of the large landmass we call North and South America by Pedro.
Hello, everybody.
And we have Jay.
Ready to make me feel bad for shaving to look professional.
Looking professional. What kind of show are you? Where do you think we are? You know what? I just realized my mic is like sitting on the ground over here. I probably sound like I'm a mile away from my microphone. I unplugged my microphone.
Oh yeah, you're like 3 clicks away.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why we're not an audio podcast. For sketch comedy. All right, so now that I'm done being very unprofessional and not knowing how a microphone works, let's talk about our weeks in review in Heroclix. PJ, we're going to take you after everybody because I think your story is a little longer than everybody else's. So, Pedro, how's your week in Heroclix been?
I was okay, still recovering from the WKO. Since you guys get Thiago, I'm not going to bother you guys with the detail. Basically, win every match in the second or third round by putting Magneto with Sam Cap there, calling Hawkeye and demolishing the team until you find a team which you can roll 5s for anything, even 3 times in a row, and then you graciously accept defeat and hug the champion because he's a really cool guy who definitely deserved the win. But now working on the new stuff, thinking on post-rotation, thinking about the new shenanigans that are going to come on, and preparing for the August Nationals because WizKid graciously announced that Brazil will have its own Nationals, so everybody's ultra hype and everybody's also invited to come. So send PMs, let's make my wife quit living with me and let's fill the house in with gas and go for
it. Sleeping gas, right?
Yes. I assume the community is all nice and friendly and will not take double entendres. So, yes, everything of the non-sexual nature is allowed and invited.
That's not what I meant, but Jay, how's your week in HeroClix?
Let's start fresh.
All casual this week. So, actually, it's not true. Before the Thursday event, I got together for some post-rotation playtesting. That was fun. But then I realized that the Jokers don't work anymore, but it was still fun. And then we had our local tournament where I played. It was like 500 golden or something, so I played a lot of past POG generators. I had Double Dinosaur, the Wizard, Dr. Midnight, Rick Jones, and other ones, I'm sure. Just make a lot of pods, throw them out there, have some fun. And fun was had, and I ended up winning the tournament, which doesn't matter because I don't take prizing because I'm already a judge, but I still had some fun games. I played against Devin, with a bunch of X-Men, of course, and I played against other people who I don't remember, but a lot of fun was had. And then later, I'm going to be doing some playtesting with Emily a couple days for the upcoming event this weekend. So that'll be fun.
All right, cool. I just played in our weekly tournament. I actually got a chance to go to our weekly tournament on Saturday because it was the long weekend, which is fantastic. And I played a detective theme team. Highlight of the day was sand turning dust into mud with knockback. It was a game against Amber. There was only 4 people at the tournament. Long weekend. It just kind of happens. And I used Sand's phase and then Force Blast off of a building on the Keystone City map. The Keystone Central City bridge map, whatever side it was that had water or whatever, knocked dust off of off of the building to do 2 damage and throw her into water and kill her. It was the high point of the tournament for us. And then immediately after, our friend Aiden, who has collections that range from set number 1 to set number now, decided he was going to bring some uncarded figures. And we do this every so often. We play a bunch of games with uncarded figures. There's 900 points, Sinister Syndicate versus Batman enemy teams. And you don't feel good until you say my 4 attack against your 11 defense. was pretty fun. It was one of the things I look back on that game, and that game was like that game of Heroclix back then was everybody says it's such a great game. It's like it's a game where it was literally defined by the dice, guys. Don't kid yourself. The lack of prob and the lack of powers and everything like that. That was a game. I mean, we had fun and we laughed our butts off just by saying my 6 attack against your X defense. There was defenses in single digits at some points. So it was a ton of fun, but appreciate the game we have now, guys. All right. But PJ, 2 weeks ago, you had some excitement that you didn't get a chance to share because you weren't here last week. So what's up, bud?
Yeah, so I wasn't here last week because I was flying back from my tournament in Orange, California at Majestics. As people have heard by this point, I was able to win. It was 300 rock gauge with Pat's specific band list. I don't remember everything that's banned, but it's like orange batteries and pick power pieces, copycat, morphing jar, that stuff. So I played a Mistress Death team. I played her with Mjolnir, Shredder, a full Book of the Skulls, Split Lip, a Flora because you have to, and then a Skyscraper Wonder Woman at 15 with 4 ID cards and a Gamma Bomb. I added the Gamma Bomb like 2 hours before the event ish because I forgot it existed. And Dan's like, "Why aren't you playing Gamma Bomb?" I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to. So I bought the one that Pat had in his store and played Gamma Bomb. That comes into play later in this. So I wrote a tournament write-up for the entire event. So in order to save a little time, I'm not going to go over all the Swiss rounds.
If you want to find that, check it out at majesticccg.com.
And it's a free article, so you don't have to pay.
Links down there.
So in Swiss, I went 3-2. So not very good. I lost to another Mistress Death team that hit 6 rollouts. He hit 6 rollouts on my 8 attacks on his Mistress Death.
Oh, that's not 1 in 3.
Yeah. And then I lost to Adam Friedman by like 80 points. And if I had one more turn, I could have killed the Iceman he called in. So it could have been close, but the game was really back and forth. So in top 8, I play against Tony Rodriguez, who wrote an article also that is free on MajesticCCG.com about his Thanos team. And so it was a mystical theme team. It was Thanos, the Galactic Guardians Yondu, I think, or Guardians of the Galaxy Yondu, I mean, that can shoot without having line of fire. And it was possessed by Proselyte, however you say it, I don't know. And then he had a shifting focus Doctor Strange with an indigo battery. When we played in Swiss, I made the mistake on our map of placing on the wrong side because he was putting us on Harley's apartment and using the invisible plane to block up the only elevation changes, and then using Thanos' trait to stop me from ignoring the elevated.
Ugh.
So I was just kind of sitting there. I beat him in Swiss because he forgot about the Gamma Bomb and it killed my Mini Shredder. So Mini got put up there with his team and that killed his Yondu. And it just all snowballed in my favor after that. But in our top 8 game, I was counting out squares before the match ever started. I looked at him really seriously. I'm like, this game is going to come down to if I can roll a 5. And with no probs either way. And he's just looking at me and he realizes what I'm trying to do. Like I marked everywhere he has to stand to do what he wants to do. And I don't know if I got into his head. I mean, he says I kind of did, but I don't want to just say that. But he just attached a construct to Thanos and passed. So that didn't block off the elevated parts. So I just moved my whole team down into the lower elevation where I could access the elevation changes without being restricted. And then I won in like 3 or 4 turns. He running shot it with his Thanos to kill my Skyscraper Wonder Woman and missed the 6 with a prob in favor. Like he just missed it. So I got to retaliate and I rolled doubles. So it hit his Yondu up against a wall.
Oh, man.
And it was just all around a bad situation for him. It probably could not have went any worse luck-wise. Like I didn't miss any attacks. He didn't hit any attacks. So that one went pretty quick. Top 4, I played against a guy named Rob Gallagher, who was playing another Mistress Death team, but with both of the shirtless chases. an Overdrive, and a Book of the Skull with Split Lip. So no Mjolnir or anything, or maybe he did have Mjolnir. I don't recall. No, he did not. He did not. Okay, so he moved up and started trying to disarm my Gamma Bomb. So on my next turn, on my first turn, I get Mistress Death with Mjolnir, get that equipped, then move up with Mini so I can drop a hammer on him. I expect Mini Shredder to take 1 billion clicks of damage that turn. Like, it's just kind of the way I expected it to go. But instead, he just kind of sidestep shifted around to try to disarm the Gamma Bomb some more, and then cleared. So Mini got to call in Hawkeye, and I got to Hawkeye his entire team.
This is how I picture that shirtless Chase team.
Yeah. So I got to Hawkeye his whole team, which put me to like click 22 on my book. So it was like +2 to all my combat values. Other shenanigans. On that turn, I also free dropped a hammer on Mistress Death because I can just do that. So she had a hammer. So he calls out Hawkeye and returns the favor. Kills both of my Colossals, hits Split Lip, hits my Mistress Death, and misses Mini Shredder. Mini was empowered, so he needed like an 11 or a 10 to hit him. So didn't really have high expectations there. So it goes back to my turn. I drop another hammer on Mistress Death after empowering her by the book and just one-shot Hawkeye just because I can. Like, it just hits him for 6 because why not? Or 8. Then I steal energy as mandatory, as people know, and I just forgot to heal it. But so I do a charge and then declare my attack on Sulu, and I roll the dice. And he's like, it's a miss. And I'm like, hold on, let me calculate values. And I'm like, I look at the judge. I'm like, hey, I need to turn for steal energy because I forgot. I'm like, it's mandatory. And he's like, correct. So I turn it, which turns my attack value up 1. So I'm like, it's a hit. And he did not enjoy that. So he argued. He's like, no, you already agreed it was a miss. I'm like, I never actually did that. And I was just like, you know what? Whatever. It's fine. It misses. I don't care. It's fine. And then the next turn, he charges in with Kirk and misses twice. And it just felt really good for me, justice and stuff. So it didn't take much after that to kind of clear up his team. I killed all the little people and then finished off Mistress Death. I could have probably just sat there and farmed her, but it's top 4, so there was no point to get a bunch of points. So in the finals, I played against Emilio Gutierrez. He was playing the 4 Mystiques with a Power Plant, an Omega Drive, Pim Particles.
Yeah.
Conveniently for me, he played against another Mistress Death team earlier in the day that did not know how to play against him. So therefore, he thought he could do the exact same things and get away with it. Not that he was like playing illegally or anything when I said get away with it, but he thought the technique would still work. So he put the Pim Particles on Tiny, and I was like, got him. So I give Mistress Death Greythoth's hammer, which makes her giant. So that means she can't be knocked back.
Yep.
By smaller characters, and he set the particles up tiny, so there's just nothing he can do. I get the initial move in with a running shot pulse wave with her, and roll a crit hit on 3 of his Mystiques. So that felt really good. Then he immediately kills my Mistress Death, or puts her to like last click with a call in. So I have to kind of move away, and then I'm just creeping up with my Shredder slowly. Then he finally kills Mistress Death the first time. So I use Wonder Woman to bring her back into the fight. Meanwhile, Shredder's up in there, doing his little Shredder thing, being in for ones. He calls out Wolverine, kills Mistress Death again. So that was unpleasant. And then I realized I was bad, and I should have been – I dropped an Anger's hammer on her after that and started healing her with the regen because I wasn't even on Pulse Wave and I was bringing her back into the fight. Like, it just didn't make any sense. But this whole while, the Gamma Bomb's ticking down. So I'm just trying to keep them on click 3 because they die on click 6. So I'm like, I just need to ping them up. So I call in an Iceman and single target pulse wave, kill one of them. And then I keep just tapping away on the smaller ones. And then eventually the bomb goes off and kills the rest of them. So Gamma Bomb ended up being the most important thing that I had. So I won Brick of X-Men, which was got a Chase Angel, a Super Wolverine, and a Jean Grey ID.
Wow.
Rick. So
That seems
Not
okay.
bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't want to. I ended up trading the rest into Pat because I didn't want to fly anything else home. But
Yeah.
there were like 2 more supers. It was like Gateway and Emma. So like all in all, it wasn't a bad brick. It just
Nope.
I traded in for my entry into the side event, which I'll talk briefly about. I played 500-point Golden Age, the must be named theme Highlander must play 4 figures. So I played Sentry Void at 300, 2 of the box set Ant-Man, which are different set numbers, so they're fine for Highlander. Then the Chaos War Fast Forces Scarlet Witch, and the Fast Forces Original Avengers Captain America that lets you free move stuff.
Oh my god.
So I don't remember most of my games, but I don't think I tabled anybody, but I made it all the way to the finals without dropping very many points at all. And then I couldn't hit an attack roll to save my life. Like, I moved my prob up with Scarlet Witch. I'm like, yeah, if I kill Speed Demon here, then I don't have to worry about anything. Oh, he was playing a Thunderbolts theme team, and it was also the same guy I played in the finals the day before.
Nice.
I move up to shoot a Speed Demon for 5 with a 12 attack on his 19, I think. No, 12 on his 20 because he had ESD because he moved. And I'm like, need an 8, got a prob, and I got 3 attacks on him. I miss all 3. I'm like, okay, it's whatever. He goes out and kills my Scarlet Witch, and then he's out again. So I'm like, all right, got 2 more shots on him. That's fine. Miss them both again, and then he kills an Ant-Man, and then it's just slowly. I finally go over and kill his Nighthawk, not the Prime, but the 120-point Nighthawk. I one-shot it with a triple empower from the ants, just hit it for 8. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. And then my 11 on a 16 misses to kill another one of his pieces, and then just run away with a point lead that he can't win, because it would have put me at 210 points, which if he kills everything with Sentry Void, he gets 200. So I pretty much just can't lose if I hit that second attack, but I didn't. So he actually ended up killing everything on my team because he started trying to barrier in my Sentry Void. So I would do or multi-attack, shoot a wall, and then hypersonic out and attack, and then I crit missed. And I was like, well, that's the way to cap this game off. He didn't have to use any of his that game. So that was bad. But I won the booster gold OP set, so I could have picked something bigger, but I was like, more Skeets is probably better than like more Merc Jet.
Yep.
So,
Yeah. Skeet is great.
now I have 4 Skeets. So I want to play, all the Skeet.
Skeet.
I do have a sweet 400 limited team that plays 3 of them with main force Hawkeye.
Oh god.
Why not effective 17 attack for 5 damage?
How many poisons did you get off? Because that stupid new way that poison works now with Pogs.
A ton, because like I would shift to the Ant-Man that makes him follow, and then it still works the same. When they move, I just place all my ants next to them, and then poison the crap out of them.
Right, but I mean how you can morph, make an ant, and then that ant can then poison.
Once or twice.
Oh, okay.
Most of the time, I just left the Ant-Man in the back and just let Sentry Void run out and do the thing. Oh, I forgot to mention the best part. Kinetic Accelerator, the 0-point object, has a ridiculous way that it interacts with multi-attack. So I would free move Sentry Void onto it, activate multi-attack, roll. Like say I roll a 3, his speed becomes a 13. And then when I activate Hypersonic, it's still a power action at no cost, so I get to roll again. There was one time I rolled a 3 and then a 6, so I had a 19 move Hypersonic.
Oh my god.
It was so good.
Oh man.
If anybody ever gets the chance to play Sentry Void with a Kinetic Accelerator, just do it.
Better Nimrod.
Yeah, anything. Just do it. But that's it. That's all for my couple weeks.
The Majestics event this time of year is always really good, so I'm glad that you had a ton of fun and did very well in both tournaments apparently. So,
yep.
Way to go on that. And now it's time to get into the news portion of things. And this next part, this is fun. So yesterday was April 1st, ladies and gentlemen, and WizKids made some big announcements recently. Most importantly, The Big Lebowski Heroclix gravity feed. That's right. You heard it here. The Big Lebowski, the dude himself. Not only do we have the solicit here, but we have some non-final previews, including Walter Sobchak, who's got the bowling team and soldier keywords. The Market Zero trait, when Walter would take damage from an attack roll, 2d6. If your roll is higher than that attack roll, Walter takes 0 instead. And then, okay, this is an April Fool's joke, but this was a ton of fun. We have this up on the Married with Clicks Facebook right now. If you wanted to give it a look, they made dials for Walter, Donnie, Uli the Nihilist. If you believe in nothing, Lebowski, and the dude himself. It's a good funny. This I think is the first time WizKids actually like participated in April Fool's Day. I don't think they've ever really done anything to this degree, and I enjoyed this. You know, it's always fun to get a neat little April Fool's tidbit. Blizzard's still the king, but welcome to the fun, WizKids, in that matter. But for realsies, guys, it all came as part of an article. I got to actually bring up the article now, and you guys are going to watch me navigate to it as quickly as I can. Where they just wanted to update us on the 2018 convention exclusives. So, of course, once again, reiterating, U.S. National Championships is going to be on June 13th to June 18th in Columbus, Ohio, at Origins Games Fair. And they linked the original announcement. Some players are uneasy because they don't have full clarity on World Championships 2018 between the venue and calendar changes. While we wanted to announce and lock in all the details sooner, we're unable to be completely transparent since the venue and contracts aren't finalized. What we can say is that our current plan would be to put World Championships in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the end of 2018 calendar year. Oof. And we hope to provide additional clarity in the coming weeks. So obviously this means I'm pretty sure this means that they're not necessarily nailed down where they're going to run it, but they do know they're planning on putting it in Philadelphia. For international players, that means that I'm pretty sure the Philadelphia airport is a hub airport. So one stop, which is pretty convenient for us in that matter. But they also want to announce some of the con exclusives, including a number of the figures that we have here that we'll take a look at right now, including the Joker from Dark Knight Returns. Dark Knight Returns, right? Yeah. Arkham Asylum, Gotham City, Underworld, Celebrity, Future, and Monster keywords. I'm going to kill everyone in this room is his special attack power. Poison. When Joker uses it, he can use ignores hindering, ignores characters, and all opposing characters within 3 squares in line of fire are considered adjacent. He's got a special defense power on his last click. With the Devil's Strength, he twists. The Joker can stop. The Joker can't be healed. If the Joker is KO'd by an opposing character, that character modifies his defense by -1 for the rest of the game. If the Joker would be KO'd by pushing damage, choose an opposing character and modify its combat values by -1 for the rest of the game. He's also got the Clown Prince of Crime, which gives him leadership and outwit. He's also got Earthbound on that last click. Then it's very colorful from there. Batman enemy team ability, 100 points for this Joker. PJ, what do you think of the Joker?
Not a huge fan. I like what they're doing. I mean, he's fun. Like I like the poison. Like I think that's a great power.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it doesn't really apply that all that often, but it's still something. It's a cool power to see them try to work with. I really, really like his stop click. I just wish he wasn't 100 points. Like I don't like that. My plan is for a third of my build to die, and like. Take out like all of his super senses clicks. Just give him the click 1, 2, and 7. Make him a 3-point, 40-point piece, or a 3-click, 40-point piece. With that stop click, you sign me up.
Yeah, okay, I can see that. Pedro, your thoughts?
I like him. I like him probably a lot more than I should. I think that Gotham City Underworld has something in it, especially for the new meta. Harley's there, the Joker's there. The only problem is he's conflicting with the chair Joker, because I think he's the main attacker of the group, and he's 100 points. He's okay, but not main attacker material, but he has leadership. He has the package, has mastermind. I like the overall package there. I need to theory craft him a little bit more with him, but I like him very much. And in a team Gotham City Underworld with Penguins and Harley Quinn shenanigans and pog making and whatever else, he might be very useful. I wouldn't underestimate him in this particular scenario. Overall, like PJ said, it's not a very wild card. Sorry for the joke, but to be fit in any team because it's 100 points. But I see potential in a Gotham City Underworld team. I see a lot of potential.
Okay, Jay.
I definitely see a lot of potential here. I think he's basically better than Chair Joker in every way. One main reason is because although currently you want a high point piece to call in high point ID cards, but post rotation, nothing is between 101 and 140 points anyway that I can think of. So that's whatever. And I think his biggest asset is actually the monster keyword because you can play him with all the really good monster stuff post rotation. Like we were just talking about how Mastermind just sucks, except for the fact that he shares a keyword with Bizarre Green Arrow, so that just doesn't apply. And at wit's good. Leadership is good, especially in the new age of a lot of lower point characters. Poison's good for killing pogs and stuff. Like the stop click is whatever, but I think it's just more. He's 100 points and has a stop click. That's pretty cool. And then he makes your opponent go after him, even though he's kind of just not doing anything. And also outwit to make him further a threat, and he can still do stuff with ID cards. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this version. And I think I will at least try and make him work.
One thing I've noticed about con exclusives recently is they're what I like to call camera friendly. Whereas if me and Amber were to actually finally get off of our butts and start playing games on camera again, this would be an enjoyable figure to watch in action. But I see some potential in his abilities, but I think one of the big things that doesn't the Joker, the chair Joker or the camera Joker, ignore where can't be countered or something to that effect?
No, he does have stealth as well, but nothing there can't be. He can't be precision striked, which doesn't matter as much anymore.
Okay, it's not a difference. Okay, then forget I said that. But either way, like I said, camera friendly, fun. Nobody's gonna yell at you for bringing this guy to the table at a kitchen table or at all. But you know, crazier people have done crazier things than I can think of, and when we get into a post rotation world, the meta gets silly.
Yeah.
So, or at least it gets silly for a week and a half. All right. Next up, Thanos. But not the Thanos you think, guys. So calm yourselves. I've seen some people react like, this is no Thanos. Like, it is a Thanos, and this is a Thanos that got beat up by Hellcat and Spider-Man. So Thanos has the eternal and cosmic keyword. So I know all you Unimind fans are already enjoying ideas with him. He's got this trait, doggone it. At the beginning of your turn, if none are on the map, generate a giant hound bystander. Giant hound, yes, it's a dog with plasticity and incapacitate. Mike would lose his mind. Like he's probably already losing his mind. He's got a special defense power on his third click. Whoops, you almost made me drop it. Sorry about that in the background there. That's my phone. It is 10 o'clock. But it's a stop click that comes with invulnerability. He's got a special damage power on the middle 4 clicks there. With the cube, I don't have to take orders from anyone anymore, which gives him the power cosmic, perplex, probability control, and you modify his range by +2. So he's already got a 6 range. It becomes 8 as long as he's on one of those 4 clicks in the center there. And yeah, it's other than that, it's what you see is what you get dial. It starts with some running shots, some pulse wave, and some mid dial quake. It's a really weird looking dial. Pedro, what do you think of this silly little Thanos?
Yep. Well, I like what you said first. So now everybody, all the Unimind lovers, can calm down when you have your pulse wave. You don't have to play Golden Age to have it. So there you go. I like him. It's interesting. I need to think a little bit about if he can be a calling battery. Always starting with running shot, pulse wave, and prob is great. Even if you push him a little bit, his third click is always pretty decent, and you have power cosmic and perplex, and you still keep prob, and he start hitting good as well. So I like it. I think it's interesting. It's going to be a lot better coupled with what we're going to see next, but I don't want to do any spoilers. I think it's interesting. At the very least, to play with Unimind, if not to be a calling battery, unless something crazy goes up, I wouldn't mind considering him, to be honest.
All right. Jay?
I don't see it, unfortunately. I would really prefer it if he had Mystical and shared a keyword with Awesome Barrier Green Lantern. But with main force Green Arrow existing, I don't see him living that long necessarily. And like I said before, his points are high. It doesn't really matter anymore because there's nothing that he's calling in that you need to be so many points for. So I think he can do better, and he's just automatically going to be bought by everybody for Unimind anyway. So it doesn't really matter. You will get use out of him, just not as an actual figure.
Yep.
I also just wish that his last click was just a little better and not just literally useless when he pops at a Unimind. But that's whatever.
Right? PJ?
I pretty much agree with Jay. I don't think he'll get played except for with the thing that's coming next and on a sideline. Stop click's cool. If he had running shot on his stop click, I would be much bigger fan. But randomly stopping onto Pulse Wave is just not that good a lot of the time. I like that there's a team ability symbol built into a damage power.
Yep.
And interesting. I don't think that's happened before.
Nope.
Oh, Kid Emma got X-Men via special power.
Right, but it actually says gets the X-Men team ability, correct?
I can't remember. I don't own that figure.
The set symbol in the text to reduce a lot of the wording. So I think that's cool. I don't know. He's okay. The bystander's terrible. It's just a big dog.
Doge. Dog. I'm a hound dog.
0 range in cap.
Yeah. Whoop-de-doo. But it does have plasticity.
Yeah. With a big old 6 move.
Yeah. Once again, camera-friendly figure. All right. Next up, the Thanoscopter. The cube-powered Thanoscopter, ladies and gentlemen. Now, there's 2 different ways to play this, so bear with me. Actually, there's just a lot going on. So the cube-powered Thanoscopter is actually its own thing and not considered a vehicle because it kind of runs on its own. It's me, the Thanoscopter, as passenger 2. When an adjacent opposing character is given a free or power action, after resolutions, deal the character 1 penetrating damage. He also ignores elevated and hindering for line of fire. And then it's just what you see is what you get dial. That comes in at either 475, 375, or 275 points. 3 dials there. It's a little hard to see, but it is a what you see is what you get kind of colored dial. It is Power Cosmic. Which is interesting. So don't worry, that Indomitable not being there is covered here. And it's got some pretty hefty numbers on the 475 point version, which you're not going to see in competitive play, of course, right? So that's the base or the standalone version of the Thanoscopter not being piloted by Thanos. Next up, the actual Thanoscopter. Its pilot ability prerequisite: characters named Thanos. All opposing characters that aren't vehicles or named Thanos modify their speed and range by -2. All right, and then it comes with, of course, 0 dial, 0 attacks, and 0 damages across it because you're supposed to be using Thanos' numbers on that case, which is great because it starts with some running shot on the early part of that, and you can pretty much share that pulse wave that he's got across there. But it comes in at 150, 100, or 50 points, and the 50-point one has got a pretty fatty dial, to say the least. Outside of that, it's got your vehicle rules over here, which are pretty standard. I don't know, Jay, have you read them and seen something different?
I think that's just what we already have in the rule book.
Perfect. Awesome. I don't have to talk about it. Passenger 1, so if you happen to be piloted, you can carry another person with it. Jay, what do you think of the Thanoscopter, either cube-powered or just being driven by Thanos? Both have the cosmic keyword, by the way.
I mean, the cosmic keyword's good. You're never seeing that Thanos or self-piloting unless you're playing it like 400 rock gauge or 400 whatever. It's a fat 50-point dial with running shot. And I'm very curious to see what they change Earthbound to in the 2018 update to the rulebook, because those last 2 clicks have Earthbound willpower specifically. So that's an interesting little future tidbit. We'll find out.
Currently Earthbound stop willpower? Or does it just stop combat symbols?
Specifically stops willpower.
Yeah.
So that's a cool future thing. We'll find out. But it's very good at 50, 100. I mean, I don't think you need to spend the 100 unless you want to do call-ins. which I guess you kind of want to do, but I feel like you're paying a lot for those extra 4 clicks. I think 50 is probably where it's at.
All right. PJ.
So I think the cube-powered copter is not playable. I think the regular Thanoscopter is pretty playable.
Yeah.
At 50, it's like 10 clicks, I think. And
Yeah.
the pilot ability is just ridiculous. Like, if you're going to play that other Thanos, you play him with his copter for 175 points. And shutting off 2 range and 2 speed makes running shots incredibly awkward, because now you're looking at 3 movement, like 5 range running shots. 8 square reaches are significantly lower. Okay. I'm back now. Okay. So I think it'll definitely see play at 50. If we end up ever getting some random like cheap Thanos, it'll be great. But the one we have now, I guess the one that comes with this is fine. I think it's cool that they come in a box set. It's probably going to be $70, like the Pym tank. It looks like it's a 2x4 or whatever, like a Quinjet size base.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I like it, and I love the fact that they made the Thanoscopter. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I feel like we're done with the 3x6 base for a while, because I mean, I think you were the one that mentioned it, or somebody mentioned it. There's a rules issue with regards to how a 3x6 works. So if you like put a Brainiac skull ship on the WizKids office, you lose.
Automatically KO'd at the start of the game.
So I'm pretty sure they're just they got to be doing away with that base type. Then again, I'm probably giving them too much credit, because sometimes things happen, right? So I'm gonna just shut my mouth while I have a chance. Oh yeah, like PJ said, that the 50-point Thanoscopter is gonna be great, especially if we get a Thanos that we can play even cheaper than 125 points. Avengers Infinity was right around the corner, right?
Yeah.
So who knows what they're going to provide us with, what kind of nonsense they're going to give us to use with this. And honestly, the cube-powered Thanoscopter I'm only ever going to see in certain silly games that I play with my friends at my kitchen table. So all in all, this is the first taste of the con exclusives we're going to be seeing. They also named several other ones, including the Colossal Starro, and the Joker and Two-Face ID cards, as well as a Gwenpool prize figure. So there's more around the horizon. I want to see what they do with Gwenpool and see if it's a little less disappointing than the Spider-Gwen was. I've played the Spider-Gwen. She's fun, but she's not, we all know she's not competitive.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hope the Gwenpool is it's Gwenpool, though. The problem is she's an unpowered character that just happens to know a lot of stuff. So it's going to be a ton of perplex, popping out wit.
The way I see it, it's either going to have a ridiculously meta trade out of nowhere, or it's going to just be all standard powers. Like maybe it gets charged flurry. Like it's either trash or it's ridiculously meta. There's no in between.
All right.
She's all fourth wall breaking nonsense.
And since we're in the midst of speculating, now's a good time to actually start speculating. And that speculation, of course, being we talked about rotation last week, if I remember correctly. And we've had a week to dwell on it, think about it, see what we're going to see. We've made some initial thoughts. Has anybody had a chance to take that post-rotation world into account and start looking at what the metagame looks like? Has anybody had a chance to really dwell on what they plan on using, or what they think is going to dominate, and if they whatever. So PJ, what have been your dwellings, your thoughts going into the post-rotation world?
Going into post-rotation, the biggest thing to keep in mind is Shield level 7 and Green Arrow ID are rotating. So you don't have 5-point hard counters to builds anymore.
Nope.
So like Swarmy stuff is super playable again. Stop clicks are incredibly good all over again. Not that they weren't, but stop click on defense is super playable. Like the 150-point Headmaster Wolverine. He's going to be a force in the metagame for the foreseeable future. So I'm really looking forward to Arrow and Hawkeye being gone, because once they are, the meta opens so much. The team I'm looking at the most post-rotation is my Samcap Beta Ray Bill team, because it doesn't really lose anything. So except for a couple of the call-ins and the teleporter, but it's pretty easy to compensate for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's primarily what I'm looking at.
Okay. All right. Pedro.
Yeah, I agree with what PJ said. I think Colossus might still have, some again, we don't know what Avengers Infinity will bring, but so far I think they did not having Hawkeye to start one-shotting them one after the other might actually give them a chance at seeing Tabor for longer than a couple rounds. So I also agree on the stop click. I think that it's a pity the teleport is being gone, but I think that POG generation is still going to be a thing. Like I said, Gotham City on the world with Penguin, Harley, and Kite Man to take the whole gang up, or take Harley up to just dish out POGs. It's going to be a very engaging team. You put a gatekeeper like this new Joker or the chair Joker, just to make your opponent known that if they have to come to you, otherwise you're just going to use the Penguin to rotate, to add up those points with Harley. I think and again, in a team where you're going to win map, likely if you do a mastermind Joker thugs. And I'm looking a lot into Gotham City on the world. That's why I mentioned the Joker. I think there's something there for sure. Um, Team it is a thing. I play the Magneto team, and I loved having the extra props. It does help, especially because now we can mostly use it like in any occasion. The limitations are very few when you can start giving token around, especially if you have Joker thugs that are just there for nothing other than being cannon fodder and maybe the extra PC there. So I like the way this is moving. And I also think that Unimind and Skits are going to be a thing, especially play together. Skits is great company to Unimind, makes it even better. The stop clicks are there, and you have gotta have an overin card to bring that up from the stop click. Don't fear the crazy green arrow one shot. So I think it's gonna be a thing.
All right. Cool. Jay.
I agree on the Gotham City assessment, although from a different direction. Considering the fact that we have main force Green Arrow with Gotham City, both Penguins have Gotham City. We're getting a Batman set. I'd be pretty surprised if there wasn't just a ridiculously good Gotham City theme in the works. I also want Chair Joker to work, but with the Professor X ID existing, I'm always afraid of that whole just mind control, separate all your guys, and just kill things. And I'm looking forward to trying out characters with stop clicks again, specifically either Devil Dinosaur with Green Lantern and other past keyword stuff, or Mephisto, because he shares Mystical with Green Lantern, basically to avoid the main force Green Arrows, which we will see how frequently they are played, but they will be very annoying, I'm sure, and will have to be a consideration. I've also seen main force Hawkeye see some play, and once you get a TK in there, not have to worry about the square limitation, he can just attack everything. So if you pump him up enough and you can get your rolls, you can get some damage too.
Yeah,
He can carry Skit around while he's shooting for +1 attack, +1 damage, and -1 defense to their target. So not a bad company.
Yeah, not bad company at all. Actually, it's bad company for your opponent.
That's true.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking to me lately about the idea of Hawkeye on main force, and yeah, he's threatening and scary, guys. I agree. Just stop sending me the things. I need to sleep at night. Some of these teams I read like, oh my god, oh that does so much damage all at once. I'm at this weird point where I want to start re-experimenting and stop kind of focusing myself in one direction, which is, constantly overwhelming with things that I didn't start the game with. But I really do want to try my Black Panther Hela Daredevil team some more, just to see if I can make it work. But overall, it's gonna be a fresh take. It's gonna be great to see not the world of one shot, 5 points, murder everything that you have that counts, or stop you from being able to do anything. There are still a lot of good call-ins, but none of them absolutely just swing the game in that much of a manner. I don't think. Maybe Iceman can, if he can line up a single target pulse wave. But you still have to have a character big enough to call him in at that point. Or the Storm, The Storm's got a pretty decent single target pulse. So PJ, you look like you're going to interject because your microphone went off mute. So feel free.
I think Cyclops and Wolverine Headmasters are going to be the only two that are kind of semi-oppressive. If you're on X-Men theme, they just can do so much damage.
Yeah.
But it's nowhere near as bad as Hawkeye and Arrow and Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's some things that do get replaced, like, you know, when we're using Shield level 7 Colossus ID, we'll replace that for the Hulk when, you know, sometimes you needed the Hulk over Nick Fury in certain cases, or you're playing like me where you didn't have Nick Fury as an option. It was usually Hawkeye and Hulk, or depending on the map. So I feel like the Colossus is going to be a decent replacement in that sense. And anything that was dialed back seems to have its replacement already, which is cool. And it's going to be interesting to see how many of the student IDs do make their way into it. A lot of them are a little bit more one-dimensional as far as character choices than we got out of most ID cards. So overall, it's an interesting Brave New World. We've had some time to think about it, but we're not quite there yet in knowing, because Avengers Infinity is around the corner. And even though there are Colossals in there, first looks from certain game cons, the ones that we've seen don't have anything that even remotely resembles a Colossal Retaliation dial, unless Colossal Retaliation is about to cost 100 points. So, you know, we don't have that to necessarily look forward to, but we do have vehicles to look forward to in that set. So who knows what's going to be in there. Plus, we have some indication that there's a chance, possibly, that they haven't mentioned it, or there could be IDs in the Batman animated series set. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen. It's speculation right now, because we have a Joker and Two-Face ID card coming out of nowhere, right? So I'm speculating, but at the same time, who knows what's going to happen in that case? And if they do happen to have ID cards, what is that going to do for the landscape? Hopefully they keep it as metered as it is right now. And hopefully nothing kind of stands out at this point from anything that's out there. Because right now, with the exception of Unimind, maybe, nothing seems super like I'm oppressively powerful. That's going to be on board per se, but that's still early speculation. My mind can get changed by the second I see like the first ROC event that happens. So again, I'm finding myself a little less informed these days, so don't go on my initial speculations anymore. Trust me. I've been very busy, and I don't play nearly as much Heroclix as I used to, so I'm going to be a little bit more speculative with my speculation.
One thing I noticed, and you guys please correct me or disagree, is that a lot of the sideways, nitty-gritty threat assessment, messer-ups, small characters with Incap, I think they're going to play a bigger role, like the Lockies or the Ice Clone. I think that, the more you concentrate on a bigger guy and, try and get some Incap there, you shouldn't play a team that your main thing is doing Incap, but if you have some Incaps on the side to, ruin your opponent's tempo and or make the guy that, how do I go to kill that Loki and, risk it, as opposed to being Incap. If you have some good source of cheap, free Incap, don't overlook it, because it can be very, very relevant, especially in an ID cards continuing scenario. I think it's a underrated power that, if you can sneak in a couple, like you said, your POG team or things like that, it can hurt your opponent's tempo a lot, or at least confuse his threat assessment.
Death by 1,000 cuts works. Death by 1,000 stalls works even better, because when you even if you put a second action token on a character willpower, so many people look confused when I try to incapacitate a character with Indomitable or willpower, and I do it, and then they look at me like, I don't take any damage. Cool. What are you gonna do with him next turn?
And he only took an action on a stupid Ice Clone, and now your main attacker is gonna sit up. So GG.
So those low value, what Pedro's saying is low value Incapacitate is probably one of the biggest power swings on something that's small, all of a sudden becoming super useful. Tempo swings go a long way. Forcing your opponent to lose a turn with a character goes a long way, to be brutally honest. So look at how much we complained during the Faust years. And you lost full turns. So this is just a minor thing, but these minor things, this is a thing that I get where Pedro's coming from. Is it hasn't, in 15 years of this game, the power of Incapacity has just not been appreciated. as much these days because of willpower and Indomitable being handed out significantly more. In the early days, it was everywhere, but it also only did the initial pushing damage, so you didn't do it after the first two, whatever, right? So, anyway, is there anything you guys want to add to the future conversation before we move to the questions? Because it's a pretty short episode this week. There's not much going on in the world of Heroclix. It's that transitional period. So, PJ's already shaking his head at me. Pedro, anything you want to?
Nope. So far, good.
Jay? All right. If you guys happen to be watching live right now, put it in big capital letters question, and we will get your question. We'll notice your question in the chat. Chat's not too lively as much today. If you want us to stop what we're doing and immediately talk about the topic that you want us to talk about, put it in a super chat. We will stop everything and deal with your super chat, because that you just basically became a patron for a millisecond. Speaking of patrons, check us out at patreon.com/marriedwithclicks if you want to help support us out of your own pocket. You get a little bit of perks. I'm a little behind on sending out action tokens because I just looked to my right and realized I got a big bag of action tokens I got to send out. So if you guys are waiting on those, that's my fault this time. So I'll get those out as soon as I can. But also our patron hangout is going to be this Friday. It's the first Friday of April. This is going to be our April patron hangout. So if you want to join us at patreon.com/marriedwithclicks and you want to get that lovely message at Friday night around 9 o'clock, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you get to come join us on a hangout, chit chat with us, and generally just ask us any kind of boneheaded questions you want. And by boneheaded, I mean like you can literally you can probably ask us any old embarrassing question, and we generally have enough alcohol in us in order to answer those questions. So once again, it's this Friday, April 6th. If you are a patron or are interested in becoming a patron, we're going to be doing that then. And that's at any level. You could be a $1 patron and join in on that. $5 and up, you get early access to our recorded videos, which we're going to start filming again this week. It's been a bit of a lag, and we ran out of content last week. Plus, the holiday kind of put us off a bit. So sorry about that. And, of course, at the $10 mark, you get one of these action tokens that I swear I'm going to mail.
You do get them. It might take a while for them to arrive, but you definitely get them.
Yeah, so these are actually the January and February tokens. So this is what they look like this time around. These are provided to us by Big Bully Games. Fantastic custom
they're awesome.
action tokens. They do some of the best work, and these action tokens aren't the only thing I get from those guys. So check them out if you get a chance. A little plug for them. But in the meantime, we're going to move to the Facebook, find out what's going on in the comments for our original post. Then we're going to move on to the chat. So get those questions in as soon as you can. And the first one I want to address, because I don't think we really have a proper answer for that. How many licks, this is coming from Andrew Fairweather, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? It is exactly 137.
I actually know the answer to this.
Oh, PJ knows the exact answer.
There was a study done. It's 252.
252. Does that average out based on liquidity of a tongue and saliva content?
It was just average on a group of volunteers.
Average. Okay. So, on average, 252. There we go. Pedro, Jay, you got any issues with the math that PJ provided us with?
Can't contest science.
Okay. I actually just went with the dimension number that Rick is from Rick and Morty. So.
Also, for what it's worth, they created a machine, and it was like 354 licks with their licking machine.
Yeah, you see, here's the thing. A licking machine is going to have a consistent saliva rate, whereas a human being is going to have different saliva rates at different ratios, plus different sized tongues, different impact on the tongue.
Humidity in the place you're doing the licking, right? Humidity counts a lot for that.
Exactly, I mean, this conversation is going to get dirty before it gets clean, so I'm going to just stop a chance here. All right. So the first actual question we have comes from Michael Fedor. Hi, everybody. Alpha Patron here. That's right. He is the first patron and the longest running so far. So I like how the War Machine OP kit piece has a lot of potential to fit in a lot of teams with the keywords. But do you think he's strong enough to withstand attacks to play him as a guard, blocking line of fire between an opponent's piece and more detrimental piece on your force? Now, if I remember correctly, he had the ability to choose energy shield as a power, correct, guys?
Yeah.
All right. And did that come with a reasonable enough defense to say, I'm going to body block with him?
I mean, he has 18, and then he also has the range prob power, so yeah.
Okay, so if you're able to use the energy shield, yeah, okay, I can see that. Cool. Yeah, but I'm going to preface this with my own experiences. If you rely on that and you look to it when your opponent hits, your day is ruined. Never rely on the super high defense. Oh my goodness, is it ever something to never like? If you put your faith in my super high defense was unhittable, you're gonna get laughed out of the room when somebody rolls a 10 or an 11. Because guess what? That's a value that can show up on a die. You know what else is a value that can show up on a die? A 12.
I'm just thinking, like, Shredder Clone is so common and has a 12 in addition to just the free damage, so that's gonna be hit.
Yeah.
It's only 75 points. This is the game we're in now.
Yeah. PJ, anything you want to add in there?
Not really. I don't think you. If you want to body block with something, use something with stop clicks. Use OP Civil War stop click Iron Man or Captain America. They have stop clicks. There you go. That's a much better body block.
In fact, I'd use them to body block the War Machine even, and then your War Machine, once they've body blocked, has his full defense to go on, and then jump out and shoot. I don't know, just hypothetical here. Pedro, any thoughts you want to add there?
No, you got it. High defense team is something that works until it doesn't. That's the problem.
High defense works until they have high attacks, and that's it, man. Forget about it. All right. Next up, Lucas Tom Van Hollen. Do cosmic teams have what it takes to take down shredders? More so post rotation. So it's like a two-part question. It's like, can they take it down the shredders? Is it better post rotation? Will tent poles go by the wayside with the loss of super intelligence? How many floras long is PJ's beard? PJ, you've trimmed it recently, so he's currently. Are we talking surface area? He's about 3 floras around. And about a half a flora long.
That's fair.
All right, but let's cosmic theme team. Jay, you've been touting it. What do you say?
Well, I'm gonna say specifically, considering that Beta Ray Bill ignores shredders essentially, there's definitely some potential there, and floras exist and are good. And there's a lot of cosmic, and we're gonna get a cosmic Avengers set, so. It's good now. It's getting better later, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of invincible on those cosmic level deities.
Yeah.
Floors are good.
Pedro?
Yep, I agree. I agree they have it, especially if you bring some outwits. I think, PJ was talking about it. I don't think shredders are completely invincible. They're just a safer bet. Or they have more consistency, they rely less on die, but you start getting those outwits on side steps around, you're not going to have those crazy flurry calls in anymore, which causes, how they chew you up, and then they put the piece machine there to 3 times, hit you for 3 all the time. So I don't think you're going to see that mechanic there. Of course, piece machine makes him live a little bit longer, but, you outwit them, stay close to them. They don't, except for Shadow Clone, which hit hard, but you can, focus on him. I think you can manage. Have some extra outwits. Outwits is always a thing. You guys been saying this a lot in after the changes. Bring a couple, so it's doable, and Cosmic can have their share. So I think they can.
All right, PJ.
We're
still on Cosmic right now. We haven't addressed the Supreme Intelligence.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, I had a panic moment. I looked up and my cat was 8 feet in the air.
Leap climbing.
I was like, oh no, he's right behind my 75-inch TV. Cosmic is good now, and it doesn't lose anything. So, but neither do shredders. So I think rotation doesn't affect either of those teams whatsoever. I don't want to say yes, Cosmic beats shredders, or yes, shredders beats Cosmic, because a good build can beat either. Yeah, I think to outright answer the question, I think Cosmic teams have what it takes to take down shredders. There's so many good options, because like Lockjaw can just take Invincible, and you have, like Jay said, you have Beta Ray Bill, who just doesn't even care at all about anything that they're doing. So definitely has the potential.
All right, cool. Yeah, in general, just when it comes to the Shredder conversation, I said it a while back. It's like they didn't really change how I was building my team. They just changed how I play on the board, and I have to be a little bit more careful about things. So the general sense is play the best that you can, and you can generally get by the Shredders. But it does take some hardcore play and a little bit of different play. They change how you play, not how you build. But what are tentpoles gone with Supreme Intelligence being gone, or is there still some tentpoles that, like some big old butts that you can put on the map that still have a big old chance against what's out there without having to need something like the Supreme Intelligence? What do you think, Pedro?
Oh, just saw. Well, it's not major. It was a shorter event, but we just saw Goblin King with Mirror and Nick Fury call in, win a double KO. So if you're lucky on the D6, a full points Goblin King is still threatening because you have 19 invincible if I recall correctly. You pick up shape change and super senses, and you have the power trio. And then when you get the mirror, then you can pick super senses and either ESD or combat reflexes. So you have all the 4 major defense powers there. You're gonna be a tough nut to crack. So I think so. It's not a must. It helps a lot, but it's not a must. But again, I'm not particularly a big fan of an ultra tentpole. If you have, I like a strong main attacker, I can live with that. But there's room. They're still there, and I don't know. Maybe I know it's maybe crazy, but with the stop clicks gone, you might consider just for funsies once looking into the Doomsday. Right now, it's not ultra meta, but just for funsies. Eventually, if you're lazy and don't want to build something crazy, just try Doomsday and see how it goes.
What's the worst that can happen, right?
Yep. Eventually, you might see someone table, bringing a main force, Green Arrow, but it is what it is. Tough luck.
Force the meta your way. Play Doomsday 1 week, and then next week when everybody brings Green Arrows, you bring something.
Prepare for exactly.
You mess with the meta. PJ, your thoughts?
I don't think it matters a whole lot. I don't think it changes their viability in the meta. Just I do want to do a quick touch on what Pedro said about the team that won with the Goblin King. It totally had a Supreme Intelligence on it.
Oh.
So, but I don't think it really changes what's viable because what you're getting off Supreme Intelligence, Goblin King can pick anyway. Yeah, it limits your options, but I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of Supreme Intelligence on big figures anyway. I liked it more on like Haha Joker and stuff. So, yeah, I don't think it changes a whole lot.
Right. And usually, like you said, usually put the Supreme Intelligence there to get to the Super Senses click, right? So it's one less pick. So, like you said, make life easier, but it's not a game changer.
Jay?
I don't really think that the resource retiring matters that much because we don't have any tentpoles post-retirement because that's not where the game has been going. Like, what? I mean, UXM was basically the first set where they were really cutting down. I'm trying to think. The highest point figure in Spider-Man would have been like something not good. Like, there's nothing that's even tentpole level anymore, really. Unless we get something really good in Avengers, but that's more speculation, so we can't really say for sure. But I'm sure we'll see at least one of the many huge things that are at least somewhat viable, I would imagine.
I mean, we got Iceman. Tentpole is generally anything that's more than 50% of your build. So, you're putting a lot of weight into it. And then if you lose it, you lose a lot, but you might still have a chance. The pole you lose a pole, you might still be able to hold the tent up a little. One-man army is just, you lose that guy, you're done. That's about it.
I like this guy a lot. A lot.
No?
I like this guy. You know the Hulk guy, Jason, never heard of him?
He's okay. I've seen some builds with him, so he's not out of the picture.
Yeah, PJ has regaled us with tales of people playing him for some reason.
All right. Next up, Chris Stockhouse. I wasn't ready for it. I just mentioned his name. I forgot to put a stamp on the episode, which he just did by asking a question. So, with multi-target mind control, when do pieces revert back? I'm assuming this will come up a lot with this weekend when the Professor XID becomes legal. All hail Brood Professor. See whoever I see in Michigan for charity, which we're going to talk about in a minute. I don't remember what the ruling is. I think it's like once that character's taken the act. There was a point.
I have it pulled up already.
All right, Mr. Rules Man, what do you got?
Instead of normal damage, a hit character halves speed and becomes friendly to your force, and may in either order move and or make an attack, then it reverts forces. So I'm pretty sure you say, like, I might control 2 characters. One of them does both actions, and then the other one does both things, and then... Or sorry, character A does the 2 things, reverts, and then if you wanted, you can then attack with character B.
Yeah, because that's what the wording sounds like, is like the revert happens after they've taken both of the actions they're allowed to take.
Yeah, it's all. Yeah. It's not worded such that you can do move, attack, attack. It's you do both in sequence.
Yeah,
agreed.
So if you're facing a three characters team, the first guy will not be able to do anything because everybody's on your side. Then he moves and just walks away or whatever, or step closer to the other 2, reverts to the other team, and then the next 2 can attack him, or you can attack him, and the one who just attacked it reverts, and then the last one can attack the second. So you drop them down one by one as you action, full action their move and attack one by one, right?
Sounds about right. Like the first one's not going to be able to make the attack, but his move is
he moves, reverts, and then the second one starts.
Yeah, because the non-action in this case, because it's a May, is as equal an option as taking both options, kind of thing. So
yeah, as just dropping him. He just drops his turn and to be able to become the other team again.
Okay. Now there's been some mention of this charity event that's coming up this weekend. I didn't see a question on it on the post here.
There's one on the under the Married with Clixed group.
Oh, the Married with Clixed
group.
Where
I shared it, yeah.
Why do you post things in other weird places? You're such a weirdo.
It's your group. You're so screw you.
Actually, I didn't start that group. Mr. Thomas Stern did.
Oh, you're right. Thank you.
Here we go. All right. So, Brian Poling asks on the Married with Clixed community group, what are you playing Saturday, Jay and company? I don't expect an answer, but I figure I'd try. He says, if it was me, I would totally answer Heroclix. I am playing Persona 5, I'm sure, on an exercise bike this weekend because I'm not getting out for Heroclix.
It's just me and PJ as far as people here.
All right. So, PJ, he wants to know what you're playing this weekend.
Well, I'll tell people what I'm playing. I don't mind.
PJ's the man.
I'm playing Shifting Focus Deadpool, Lockjaw, Ironheart, and Mini Shredder with a full teleporter. So it's just don't die tech with full teleporter. So yeah, there's not. I don't know my IDs yet. I haven't figured that out. I know Wolverine and Cyclops will be there since the X-Men keyword. That's really all I got for the exacts of the build. I know the build. I just don't know the IDs.
PJ reminds me of me when we recently had a charity event. Actually, not recently. It was like a year or 2 ago. We had a charity event, and I had brought like the Avengers team base, but I made sure Deadpool was on it. So you're carrying on the tradition of bringing Deadpool to charity. All right, Jay, you said you are going, but Pedro, what are you playing this weekend?
Yep, I'm playing the game of Take Care of 4 Kids. It's a very tough game. You know, points vary all the time. No, but joking. Go ahead.
Yours is 1 point harder than mine.
Exactly. I like the challenge. No, but we have a local league that we're meant to practice, and we're gonna have a fun round, which is you pick 4 characters of 100 points, or less, but you're likely getting very close to 100 points, and your character picks one for you not to play, and you play 300 with the others. You can only bring 3 characters and up to 100 each. So I'm gonna bring my 4 characters are here. I'm gonna bring Zatara, the Rat King, the Loki from the starter set, and Savanti Romero. They should all be mystical for the team and should have some fun. They all have Perplex, Prob, TKs, and Mind Controls, and it's gonna be whatever my opponent picks for me not to play. The other 3 synergizes aggressively well.
So now I have to ask, which rat? You were talking about the Throne Rat King?
Yes, the Throne Rat King.
Perfect. Love them.
I'm confused where you didn't play Element Man. What's that about?
I considered playing Element Man, but I like this 4. I think they synergize so well, and and having a Loki with Colossal Stamina, Pulse Wave, and if it dies, it comes back again with extra Perplex and Probs are just too good to be true. Or have the Pterodactyl there and Black Magic going on. And how many times can you say you played Savanti Romero nowadays? So I want to give it a spin.
I got to say, I think it was ROC Nationals. I had to say the words. I played against Savante Romero.
Yes.
Man,
Awesome.
he is weird
That
stuff.
Way more frustrating than he deserves to be.
He can do some crazy stuff. It's fun.
Yeah, man. That pterodactyl, if not metered, just gets him out of trouble all over the place. Jay, what are you gonna man up and see what you're gonna
To
play?
actually
this weekend,
answer the question, I mean, I have 200 points. I just need the maps. I only need to place top 4, and it's a charity event. So my exact build is right there. Magneto, Sam Cap, Lila, and Moira. It's Easton, Devin, Dan build. 5 cards on the teleporter. Level 7. Cyclops, Wolverine, Magneto, Green Arrow. Maps are Rock Underground, because obviously Bifrost Bridge, because there's literally no hindering, and I have Outwit. And I can't remember the last one, but it is a 3rd map. It should be fun, and it's on the last day of Passover, so hopefully I get some Jew luck. Because I've heard that Magnetos can lose missing 5s between Pedro and Devin. So
Yep, they can. Don't let's move along. And
yeah,
change
literally
subject,
the
please.
only game Devin lost that day. I think he missed like 5s. It was tragic. But
It was. Well, quick parenthesis. It was the only number I couldn't hit the whole day, and I have at least 23 witnesses. I had Iceman
At
to
least
pulse
23.
wave all the Eternals. All the Eternals from me. I was facing Unimind. I got to pop the Eternals. I had Iceman perfectly placed to kill them all. I needed a 5, and I rolled a 4. If I was hitting 8, 9, 10s and crit hitting left and right, but if I needed a 5, I already said I need 2 probs, and with the I prepared for it, but 2 probs apparently are not enough to roll 5. So
hey Jason, remember that one provincials where you missed like what 4 4s in a row?
No, I paid good
what's
money
what-
to have it
when you were
brainwashed
playing
out
what-
of me.
This is the look on my face when something like that happens. Like,
Yeah, what happened was you were playing like the Clarion, Proteus, Shifting Focus, Superman, whatever build, and you had Proteus needing like a really low number with a prob, and you missed it like 3 times.
yeah. Oh, I remember. Actually, no, I can't remember specifically all the misses I've made, because there's so goddamn many. This is why I played things like the Red Lantern Power Battery, or why I like to play things like the Shredders, guys. This is, people like me exist, and we have some skills in the game, and we kind of have to alleviate that whole dice luck thing somehow.
I mean, you can win worlds without rolling dice, apparently. So go for it.
Yeah. All right. With that, we move to the chat. Chat, if you have any questions, get them in now, because there's not many, and it's going to go quick. Because Adam Cole wants to re-ask the question about who's going to the event in Michigan. I think we've already answered that, Jay and PJ. KJ Foster has a question not even related to Heroclix. Do you think my school, Michigan, is going to come back and win? They are playing in the national championship. Is this the football or is
Basketball?
this basketball? PJ's giving you a thumbs down. Pedro,
Whatever. I hope it does. If it doesn't piss many people off.
Villanova's playing too hot right now. I don't think they can lose. So.
I know all of those words were English, but they just don't. I just don't understand what
There's balls and there's
sports ball.
Yes. It's basketball, right?
All right, so the school Villanova will put the ball in the hole more times than Michigan.
You know what? I've been to Michigan. I don't think any city is better at putting balls in. Wait a second. You're talking about the sports ball.
Yeah. Again, we're treading the line too close.
William Dickey has a question here. It's a very simple question. Mangog?
No.
Pedro?
Too easy access to mind control.
Yep.
Good point.
I don't like him, to be honest. It's great, but nah.
Did I miss?
But he might have enough.
did
If Colossus are not dealt with, he might do something, or he was expected to do and hasn't yet. So.
All right. Next up, Paul Waller. What maps after rotation are a must-have or should be a must-have? I mean, I always think the WizKids office is a must-have at this point at all points. Just because sometimes you need that kind of terrain-based disruption. If you can see somebody trying to do some kind of TK bomb, the WizKid's office is really going to mess with that. It's going to take them a couple of extra turns and gives you some turns to set yourself up. And then outside of that, what was it? If you can't get your hands on that one, there's that Star Trek Underground map is a reasonable alternative to that. But also have the map pool is kind of killing me right now. Trying to remember what maps are best as far as generally competitive play. I mean, always try to have the premium maps. That's for sure. That's a little bit of extra dollars, of course. PJ, your thoughts?
All the ones you said, and add Genosha, because all the elevation changes can make nightmare for teams that aren't prepared for that. So, Star Trek map, X-Men map, premium maps. Then the rest are just whatever you prefer.
Yeah. Pedro, anything?
Bifrost ever.
No, I agree. I was going to say Bifrost, or I don't remember the right name, the Thor Bridge, to narrow down if your opponent doesn't have fire. You can see them. Yeah, you can see them coming. And all the ones you said, I like the Harley's apartment, but Genosha is just as good for elevation as well if you're looking for an elevation map. But those are the main go-to guys.
Yeah. One thing worth noting too about Bifrost, I didn't mention it as a must-have because really specifically works best if you have some kind of motion disruption. That being like you have mind control to force them into the orange squares. You have TK to force them into the orange squares. Super strength or force blast to force them out there. Any kind of manner in which you can force them onto those orange squares goes a long way towards making that map super useful to you. It's gotten me a couple really good close matches against Immunomines in the past. So don't.
And if you like calling in Cyclops, guess what his ID card inspiration is?
Force blast. Or a Maridroid, somebody into.
Man,
that's one of my favorites. Okay, so my Maridroid attacks. He misses because
I miss. You're not gonna do any damage.
You're taking damage anyway. Get in there. Get back to the hole where I want you anyway, so I can follow up with whatever I planned on doing with that nonsense.
Yeah, I feel like Bifrost is just better in the world of a Maridroid doesn't automatically lose to Hawkeye and 5-point mind control on every team, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. William Dickey does have a question regarding a Skeets turret list. And he also says he's super sad he missed a major parts of lab because we actually went at length and discussed how Skeets and Hawkeye are a hot mess together. They're BFFs, bro.
Yep.
PJ, anybody else that you think is really good with Skeets?
Anything with a decent range and RCE with 2 Skeets. You're just +3 to both. You don't need anything else.
Yuck.
Any piece with running shot and 1 Skeet is good. Like there's no you can always just carry him for +1/+1 and PD ability, and everyone can shoot over it. So it's tiny. So if you want to call in a Cyclops and use him to carry a Skeet, let's do that because it's great. And if you want to have 4 Skeets because you need overkill, you can just do that.
It's not unique modifier, his bonuses, right? Only the PD is limited to once.
None of it is. Is PD even limited to 1?
PD is not limited.
Stacks.
No? Oh my god.
Yeah.
PD stacks.
Yeah, that's what I was saying with the Hawkeye team I was talking about. It's an effective 17 attack with 5.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because you basically get +3 attack out of
-3 on the.
Yeah.
Because why not?
17 for 5 on their whole team.
Yeah.
Ouch.
And they're not going to block way because they're tiny.
Right.
I tried something very similar in a and we'll get to you in a second there, Pedro. Sorry.
No, sure.
We had a Pacific Rim event, and the Pacific Rim team ability is basically the PD team ability. And anytime you can get the PD or Hydra team ability working with a different size character, it's working at its maximum potential because you're not having your line of fire blocked. And all that's required is both the character shooting and the character using the team ability have line of fire. So the character using the team ability is a giant, and he's sitting behind your character. That's fine as long as he can draw a line of fire. He doesn't even need range; just needs line of fire to it. So size differentials with the PD team ability are very, very strong. Sorry, Pedro, carry on.
No, you guys covered. I like many skits. Other skits is a great turret to carry skits with, and if you pop him, then it's even better. So, yep, Hawkeye, Unimind is great. I was mentioning it earlier in the show. I think it's a great complementary. If you pull full perplexes, +3/+3 everywhere, -1 defense. So it's nasty, and and whatever you call in, Iceman, Storm, Cyclops, wherever you call in that shoots, it's gonna get you there.
Mm-hmm. Jay, anything you want to add?
There's going to be Dark Knight, Batman Beyond stuff in the Batman set, so future will be good. Robots are always good. Monsters are going to be ridiculous post-rotation. So much good. I mean, Beta Ray Bill has a robot. There's a lot of good stuff.
Meridroid, Wonder Woman.
Yep. You get a 10 attack on that Meridroid. Yeah. It's just too bad that you can't modify the Bat Knights, because that would just be absolutely stupid.
Yup.
So good.
So never underestimate the skeets, especially in this future, this upcoming meta. Just be afraid of energy explosion once you get there. But by then you shouldn't have to worry about energy explosion, because you should be doing so much damage multiple times in a turn. All right. On that note, I believe that is everything in the chat. Yes, it is. All right. So before we head out, PJ, anything you wanted to add before we go? Pedro, anything you wanted to add before we go?
One quick thing I forgot to mention. If we get a Joker ID card, both the chair and the 100 one is good, because you have leadership outwit and you get the poison going and life is good, and who knows? So let's hope.
Beware the Joker ID strats. Jay?
Pretty sure the Joker ID was already confirmed.
Yeah, we just talked about it earlier today.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because it's on that same list of con exclusives that included the con previews. So, yeah. I call in my Joker and I deal poison damage 3 squares away to everybody. Deal with it. All right. On that note, guys, I want to take a second to thank our sponsors, those guys that help us keep the lights on. Well, kind of keep the lights on. Lights are kind of on. Okay, I apologize for the lighting. It's kind of yellow because our walls are yellowish. First of all, hcrealms.com. It's the source, guys. You wanna build a team? Use this unit section. The whole library of figures is here. You just add your teams. Look at this. Some kind of fool built a team over here and just left it, and it's all part of your cached-in memory. It's fantastic. And then you can clear out the team, add, subtract figures. It does all the math for you. Just keep track of it. You can also keep track of your collection. Wonderful tool. Forums, there's conversation happening on there, but it's the internet. Be wary where you go. But while you're on this site as well, you can check out the shop, put in the coupon code MARRIED for 10% off of your purchase. Also, we mentioned them earlier today, and they're in the stats or in the description below. MajesticCCG.com. Check out the premium site at MajesticCCG.com/Apex-Insiders. It's where you're going to get some brain dumps from some of the greatest in the game and some crazy minds as well. PJ Bolin shares his tournament report, and he talks about his Book of Skulls Lady Mistress Death team. And there's other great ideas that are coming out of here. Not the entire site is not paid, but there's certain content that is part of that Apex Insiders subscription. As PJ said, his tournament report is part of the free site. So check that out. It's right there. And you can find out how he did and all the decisions he came to. MajesticCCG.com/Apex-Insiders. He asked me for an editorial a little while ago, and I'm not salty enough to write an editorial right now. So there was one day I made an offhand comment. I was a little salty, and it's like, I don't think I can write a whole salty article on this just yet. So that said, guys, I want to say thanks to all those guys who help support us. I want to thank PJ, Pedro, and Jay. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching in the archives, thank you as well. Thank all of our patrons over at patreon.com/Heroclix. And of course, thank you guys. While you're watching all this, thinking about your new ideas, post-rotation is coming. We have a fair number of figures already. There's only 2 more sets to go, but that's not a reason to stop practicing, because practice will make your team better. Have a good night, everybody.